You're facing an Arkansas team that's had some turnover because of suspensions, players leaving early. Imagine they're at a phase in their program right now where they're trying to get everything together.
Yeah, they're still Arkansas with unbelievable pressure, both full court and half court. They have a bona fide first-round draft pick in Kingsley inside, and good pieces that are starting to play a little better together. They lost to a very good Akron team, but in their two other games, forced the tempo, turned the ball over, and they're starting to find the pieces in terms of their scoring as well, perimeter shooting, and really, in their last game played extremely well.
With these two games, is there any particular you want to find out, or you think you're going to learn more about your team?
Well, I mean, obviously we need to respond in a positive way.
Right.
Didn't play our best game the last game out, without the, just some core things that we need to do well, no matter who we're playing, where we're playing them, or when we're playing them.
Right.
So our guys need to respond to that. One of the challenges in any season is, how you respond when you don't perform well. Are you able to, bounce back and dig down a little deeper in terms of the stuff you're supposed to be doing? And we need to do that. And you're going to do it again in this tournament, in this two-game set that we have against two high-quality teams, no matter who you play in the second game.
Bell is a guy you're going to really have to keep an eye on the perimeter. He's already put up about 26 threes.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a dynamic scorer, and they run a lot of different screening action for him, but he can put the ball on the floor as well. And it's a pretty good early combination with Bell and Kingsley, inside, outside. So you have to make sure that you're there on the catch all the time on him. You can't give him anything easy. No open shots, no open drives. And again, we got to challenge our guards a little bit, because in our last game, we didn't defend the perimeter the way we're capable of defending it.
And of course, if you concentrate on those two, you also have a couple other guys that are scoring in double figures.
Well, that's the thing. They're very balanced right now. 4 starters in double figures, and I think they brought Hannah's off the bench the last game, but he made 5 threes. He's a deep, long range, very good shooter, crafty with the ball, so he can figure out ways to get shots off. So again, they're sometimes when teams lose people due to suspension, from the outside looking in, it looks like a negative. But sometimes, and I'm not, sometimes teams play better. You know what I mean? Less distractions going on, different things like that. And I don't know the whole situation. It's just, in general, sometimes teams come together and figure it out that, the guys they got are the guys they got to be successful with, and there's kind of a bond that's formed there. I see this team, because I think Mike's a great coach, and of every team he's ever coached plays with incredible energy and intensity. I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah, of course, with that intensity and pressure, you can expect an up and down game, I imagine.
Yeah. It's funny though. They force a lot of turnovers and they pressure you and all that stuff. But they're not. They don't play. Pivot pass and take bad shots on offense either. You know what I mean? I mean they're going to get a quality look and just again, because the team presses and different things like that, there'll be more than 60 possessions, but it's not going to be a 90 possession game.
You mentioned after the game about how you wanted Marcus to drive more and be more aggressive. After 3 games, do you have a better handle on the rule changes and emphasizing freedom of movement?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we the one thing is we and everybody else, because of that, has to get much better at one-on-one guarding the ball.
All right.
But then also, the other 4 guys got to be in better position. That first line rotation, second line rotation.
Right.
Because you used to be able to have some bumping on drives, as long they're not allowing that anymore. Mm-hmm. So you got to really move your feet. You got to show your hands on every drive, and you got to get help from that next defender. And so, offensively for us, we got a couple guys that need to be more aggressive. When they see a gap, they need to drive that gap. And now when they drive it, you got to make a good decision too, in terms of shoot, pass, or drop it off, or kick it out. But I think we got a couple guys that can, that I would just like to be more aggressive.
Is Tadrick one of those guys you feel can
Yeah,
get to the hoop?
he definitely is. He definitely is. And again, you have to be able to, part of competing is making good decisions. You can't just catch it and put your head down and just drive into a sea of defenders. You got to, when you see gaps and you see open spaces, that's when you need to attack. And then when you get into that gap, that's when the decision comes in. Are you able to get to the basket? Are you able to draw contact? Or do you have to kick the ball out or drop it off to a big guy? And that's an area that we can improve in.
I imagine Marcus, with his height and his strength, he's a little more suited to sustain whatever comes at him when he gets in the lane.
Yeah, obviously you saw him yesterday take some bumps and get fouled, get to the free throw line. 10 free throws is a good number for him. He should be at the line 8 to 12 times a game with the way, and then you make a jump shot, you make a couple layups, make a pull up, and now you got 18 points. The math, I'm no math whiz, but that's a pretty good game if you're able to do that.
From just an RPI and resume standpoint, how much do games like this, like how important are they to have in the schedule and also to win?
Yeah, I think when you look at our body of work of the entire non-conference, you look at even the one-way games. Those teams are good.
Right.
East Tennessee State, Wofford, Duquesne just beat Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't shy away from anybody when it came to even the one-way games.
Right.
We played upper-level teams. So that, all these games will build that RPI and build that resume. And you're like I said, you've already played a Tennessee team. You're going to play Arkansas and either Stanford or Villanova. You got VCU, just lost 2 tough games, but it was to Duke and Georgetown or Wisconsin, I think. You know what I mean? So all these games will help build it. We won't have any problem with the strength of schedule when the end of the non-conference is here.
Eastern Tennessee had some kids with quick hands, and I imagine you'll see the same from Arkansas. That's so protecting the ball is going to be really important.
Yeah. Obviously, when you play Arkansas, you can't.
No lazy
You can't have
passes.
a lot of lazy. You can't have one-hand passes, one-hand catches. You can't. The key. You can't be casual in anything you do offensively. Every cut has to be full speed. Every screen has to be solid. Every catch has to be with 2 hands. You got to meet every pass. We had a few in the last couple games. And obviously we haven't seen the type of pressure that we'll see in Arkansas. But obviously that would be a big point of emphasis. It is anytime you play that team.
Regarding the resume, I know it's very early and you've got a lot of other things to think about, but do you think about what the importance of stacking wins and getting a
No.
Yeah.
No. We're at it. We go one practice, one game at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we need the process of what it takes to win games, and what it takes for us to be successful. What is our identity that will lead us to success? And if you do those things, you're going to have a great chance to be successful, and in the end that takes care of itself. Do you build your schedule to give yourself that opportunity? Yeah, there's no doubt about it, or we would have had 10 one-way games against teams that couldn't beat us. You know what I mean? But 2 things happen with that. 1, you don't find out anything about yourself, and 2, it's not going to prepare you for what you're going to face once January comes here as well.
If you could go back, looking again at yesterday's game, what are 1 or 2 things that you guys maybe you feel like you should have done differently?
Our ball screen coverage was inconsistent. In terms of our execution of that was inconsistent. Our ability to guard the drive, both in the open court and the half court, was not at the level that it needed to be. And then offensively, we missed probably 8 to 10 opportunities to feed the post that we have to do. We have to get the ball inside. Those guys have proven they're not gonna take, for the most part, take bad shots or
Right.
anything like that. They'll kick it out, and we need to do a better job of getting that ball inside in those times. The other thing, there was probably 2 or 3 segments that we were up 5, 6, or 7, and if you get a couple stops in a row and make a couple baskets, you can carry that through for the rest of the game.
Right.
And we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to put our foot down on the gas and get 3 straight stops
Right.
and score 2 out of those 3 to extend the lead and keep them out of, as I said, you get into a possession game, a 2 or 3 possession game, anything can happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anything can happen, and Tennessee missed it, and East Tennessee made it.
Right.
And you got to put yourself where, if you have the opportunity, not to be in those things, because crazy things happen during that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at that point, it's not necessarily who the better team is. It's which team makes a
Right.
play or two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think we've gone through situationals in practice, but also in some of our scrimmages to kind of show that. You know what I mean? Where if in one of our scrimmages we win a 10 or 20 minute segment by 10, 15 points, against the same team, if you play a 45-second game,
Right.
you lose both. We end up losing both of them.
Yeah.
Because it's 2
Huh.
possessions.
Yeah.
And that's, you do that not only to work on that, but also to show. You get into that, doesn't matter how much, so that's just something that, we need to keep driving home to our guys.
Yeah. Huh.
One thing you also notice about Arkansas, their point guard piling up the assist early, but he also gets to the boards. He's getting 4 or 5 rebounds a game, so he's somebody they're going to have to put a body on.
Yeah, we have to, again, they were a lot of motion, so guys are all over the place. It's not your traditional where your point guard's up in the point of the offense and the wings and the post. Everybody's in every spot, and so, at times, because their offense is off balance where guys are at, guys like guards are able to get in and rebound, so we have to do a really good job of having all 5 guys engaged on the glass.
East Tennessee State's last possession, how do you decide, when you're in that situation up 3 with a few seconds left, how do you decide when to foul, or if you do want to foul or let him shoot? Is that a feel kind of decision, or?
Like when we foul,
Right, yeah.
We usually, our philosophy is after, as soon as under 8, if you're up 3, then we make the decision if we're going to foul or not. And we just made the decision to do that. We were in good position to do it. We had them underneath us. There was no chance for a foul that as a guy was about to shoot it or whatever the case might be. We executed that well. We executed the inbounds well, trying to get the ball to our best free throw shooter. The execution on the final defensive possession was good, you know what I mean? And then obviously our offensive execution on the 4 possessions prior to it was really good.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, we got exactly the stuff that we wanted, and you can tell even though we missed 2 of the shots, Adam missed 2 of the shots, we executed it well enough where we got their defense out of position where now we were able to get offensive rebounds because of it.
I know you don't get to decide, if they're getting close to the arc, then you actually can't foul. But is there do you want it to be under 4 seconds or 6 seconds or whatever when you're going to choose to foul, or
it's under 8.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, are you asking could
in a
Travis
perfect
have
world,
waited another dribble or 2? Yeah, maybe, but then you want to make it. Yeah, you want it as black and try to get it as black and white as you can. So so the guys are comfortable with it. Yeah, I mean, he executed it exactly the way we would want him to do it.
All
All good?
Very good.
All right. You got it.